Oh my god, that was so mean. That was so mean. I don't know what they were thinking. Hey, anybody out there that's taking the time to watch this video. I just wanted to make another quick disclaimer before I get into it. So, this was my first time recording with an actual mic, and I was not aware that you're not supposed to slam the table that the mic is on like 100 times. I like to talk with my hands, so this happens so much throughout the video. If you're listening to this video through headphones, I am so sorry. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. And my other disclaimer, so in this video, I have a mullet essentially. I'm growing out my hair. I shaved it not that long ago. I can't get a haircut because of COVID, obviously, so it looks bad. I know it looks bad. You're just gonna have to accept it. But other than that, enjoy the video. Hey folks, so today we're gonna be watching a little movie from the early 2000s. Some might say it's a classic. The movie is called Sleepover. This movie was definitely a staple of my childhood. I had it on DVD. I watched it all the time. Whenever I had sleepovers, I would always watch this movie with my friends, and it really just hits the spot. I watched it last week because they just added it on Netflix, and I was so happy to see it. It really put in the work. It still holds up now watching it in my young adulthood, which is always great. And it's just a little mindless flick. And those are always fun to watch and have. Like something, it tells you everything for you, so you don't really have to put much thinking in it, which is why I watched it. Because I wasn't really in the mood for watching anything that I had to like search for the meaning. And this is definitely one of those movies. Well, because it was made for kids. And while I was watching it, I definitely noticed some things that I wish I hadn't noticed when I was a kid, or didn't question when I was a kid. I feel like all these early 2000s movies, late 90s movies, or early 90s movies put all this stuff in it that nobody questioned or seemed to care about, and it would be considered pretty problematic if they put that in a movie today, but I don't know. I simply just don't know. So the movie was directed by Joe Nussbaum and was written by Elisa Bell. It's starring Alexa Vega. And if you don't know, that's the girl from Spy Kids. I think she plays Carmen in Spy Kids. I looked this up last week and I was having such a hard time figuring out who she is in Spy Kids because she looks like a completely different person now, to be honest with you. So I kept on clicking on her thing in Spy Kids, and my first thought was that can't be her because she just looks so different. Yeah, she was definitely in a couple different movies during this era. Okay, the craziest thing about this, the banner for the movie on Netflix, if you click on the movie itself without watching it or just hover over it, it shows this picture of supposedly all the main actresses posing, wearing the same outfits that they do wear during the movie and on the cover. And there's this girl, the girl who plays the Ginger. They used an entirely different model for this day. I don't know what they were thinking, but this literally is not the same person as the girl in the movie, and it's so hilarious how they did this, and they didn't think anybody would notice. That's an entirely different person. Everybody else is the same, wearing the same thing. She's even wearing the same outfit that the original actress is wearing. Was she just not able to show up that day? Like, I don't understand. We just got a whole ass other human being.
Like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, okay. Without further ado, I'm gonna get into the movie. Alright, here we go.
Do you know what happens to girls who start high school with no best friend, no guy, and low social standing? Nothing. Nothing ever happens to them. But look at it this way. You have the whole summer to revise your image. I never truly had an image, did I? Start now.
want to start off by saying that I really appreciate the color correction or color grading that they did in this movie. Even just the opening scene from the perspective of the inside of her locker looking in. I mean, this is gorgeous. It's just everything is in your face and very vivid. All the pinks and purples and greens and yellows, they just like pop in your face. And from what I remember, this happens throughout the entire movie, and it's really visually satisfying. It really reminds me of Sailor Moon or things like from the late 90s, early 2000s, especially in Mean Girls too. I think they do a similar color grading of some sort, and it's great. I love it. Is this really what happens on the last day of school in 8th grade? I think I remember just going home. My mom probably picked me up, or I walked to a friend's house. I don't know. I don't remember throwing our papers up in the air and having like a crowd of people in the halls all at the same time. Like, no. But obviously this is over dramatized, but I feel like when I watched this when I was a kid, it made it seem like middle school and high school were gonna be so much better and so much fun, and that's just not a reality.
Really, Mr. Creator, you need to get out more.
Okay, that's not funny! You too!
Julie, party problems.
Oh my god, her hat! I remember having a couple of those hats when I was around the age that this movie came out. I don't know what they're called, but they're those little caps, and they have like a little bit of a like flap brim coming out from them.
Whoa! Yankee with no brim!
Great. Stacy's gonna go to Liz's sleepover. Speak of the devils. Hey, Yancy. My father's a lawyer. Oh? He can help you sue the Diet Pill Company for non-performance.
Oh my god, that was so mean. That was so mean. I do not understand these early 2000s movies with these groups of mean girls that just verbally abuse the hell out of everybody. It makes no sense because I feel like in actual middle school, no one was really being up in your face insulting you. It was more so behind your back. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I would have preferred someone to do it like in my face like that, but that was still really rude. Pretty messed up. Another reason I think this is kind of an unrealistic representation of middle school and high school, and for other reasons as I'm gonna go along. Also, why did they have to name the chubby girl Yancy? I'm sorry if your name is Yancy. I personally don't like the name, but everybody else has very normal names. She's already kind of the outsider of this group of friends. She's being picked on. She is the chubby one, and that's like the definition of like her entire character throughout this movie. You couldn't have named her like Kaylee or Kylie. I don't know, anything normal for this era. Like, they did her dirty. They did my girl Yancy dirty. I'm sorry, Yancy.
Last chance to see a picture of me in a coma. I've got tubes in nasty places.
You were barely in a coma.
3 hours.
I always forget, but this little group of skater boys in the movie, oh my god, they geek me out so much, especially because Evan Peters is like the main one, and that guy from Weeds, I can't remember his name, but he's one of them too. It's so funny because it's them when they're like little youngins. I remember I had such a crush on SpongeBob, or Evan Peters' character in this movie, and he's such a freak in it now that I'm watching it, so it makes absolutely no sense, but he became a heartthrob in years to come during AHS.
You're all I want! You're all I have!
I was ahead of my time. Just saying. So to give a little rundown, this girl named Julie is having a sleepover. It's the last day of 8th grade. They're emerging into the summertime, and her old best friend Stacy, who's like a popular girl now, ditched her to go to a high school dance with their high school Chad Brad boyfriend. So they invited that girl Yancy instead because she felt bad that the other girls were like verbally harassing her. So she was like, hey, wanna come to my birthday party? And she was like, yeah. I don't even know if it's her birthday party. Anyways, that's basically what's happened right now. In all these movies, I wish I could name more of them right now, but I feel like I've seen so many TV shows and movies where the protagonist or one of the main characters used to be best friends with the antagonist, like popular mean girl. I don't know why. I don't know who came up with this idea and why it's used in like every single teen movie, but it's kind of annoying. Why can't they just never have been friends? I guess it creates more of a tension between them, but still, it's annoying. I'm sick of hearing it, but I guess for the plot of this movie, it kind of makes, it's not necessary. Oh, and another pretty important part of this movie is that our best friend, I think her name's Hannah. I'm so bad with the names of characters in movies, but yeah, let's just call her Hannah. Okay, I'm like 98% sure her name's Hannah. Anyways, she's moving away the day after their sleepover. This is their last hurrah, essentially, before they go off to high school and start their new lives. It's big sad.
So this is our future. Your future. I still can't believe you're moving. How am I supposed to do high school without you? There it is. The high school lunch spot. And there's where I'll be sitting.
So a whole important part of this movie is that in high school, if you're like a cool kid, you sit at the fountains. And if you're a lame, you sit at the dumpsters. And Julie's pretty much obsessed with sitting at the fountains. I also don't understand why they only have outdoor seating to begin with, and why it's such like this or that. Is there an indoor lunch spot where you can just sit and eat? I don't really get it. It's probably because this takes place in California, I'm guessing, or was filmed there. So maybe I just don't understand, and there's way more outdoor lunch spots on the West Coast because the weather is always nice there. Where I grew up, you always ate indoors. There was maybe like 2 picnic tables outside for you to eat when the weather was nice, which was occasional and only happened during the springtime and early fall. So, I don't know.
What are you doing the rest of your life?
Gotta love those slow-mo intros. So classic. I'm gagged.
Steve is so plush.
Why is it in all these teen movies and shows, the love interest of the main character is always named Steve? I feel it's such a popular name for movies like this, and I just want to know why. Like, who started this? Who was the first Steve out of all the Steves? Also, whenever I see him, I always think of that part in Austin Powers when he sees that guy with the mole.
Don't say mole. Stop. I said mole.
Stop!
Bye. Mole.
He's like, mole, 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 mole. I can't, he has like a little tiny mole, and it's not even bad or unattractive or anything. I'm not making fun of him for his mole, but that's just the first thing I think about, and I can't stop thinking about it whenever I watch this movie and I see Steve. And it's so funny, because he's supposed to be the heartthrob that Julie's obsessed with, and I just can't stop thinking about Austin Powers.
Stuff? What stuff? Oh, Mom, not the party playhouse.
We are having a Ladybug Party.
Julie is pretty much super embarrassed about her mom, like any other middle schooler. She's just like, Mom, I'm not 12 throughout like the majority of this movie, because it's supposed to be like a coming of age type thing.
Ladybug plates and a Ladybug Pinata.
A Ladybug Pinata, honestly, that sounds pretty sick. I would still, even if I was turning, 13, 14, I would still use that. I would use that now. That sounds pretty cool.
Aren't these antenna boppers just a hoot, Hannah? Look.
Someone stole my bike.
I love Julie's brother in this movie. He's such a funny character. They just poke fun at the fact that he's kind of a deadbeat. He doesn't have a job and he dropped out of college and he's just like just kind of like mopes around all the time and is just a very, very silly character. And he ends up helping them a lot throughout the night of their sleepover. So he's just overall a solid character in this movie.
Yeah, well, college. Everyone was so serious. High school was great. Stay as long as you can.
Please tell me we have different fathers.
Julie, enough. Go to your room.
Everybody in this movie is so obsessed with high school and talks about it like it's gonna be the most amazing time of your life, and I feel like it gave me a very unrealistic expectation of what high school was supposed to be like. They just make it seem like it's going to be the most epic and amazing time of your life when it's really not. Like it's an experience. Even his brother, who doesn't even seem like generally the type, I guess, to be the type of person that would peak in high school or whatever, and he's still like,
oh, I wish I could go back to high school. It was a great time. Blah, blah, blah.
Like no. Especially your freshman year of high school. Your freshman year of high school sucks. Oh.
My mom is so blindfolded. Look at what she bought me.
Now those are hot.
I loved her room so much when I was a kid. I wanted to have her room so badly. It is so cool. Honestly, I would love to have her room now. The designs on the walls, the colors, everything, it just is the embodiment of what was popular during the early 2000s. I remember I had these little dangly bead things that hung from my door, and it didn't even like look right. I just wanted it so bad to have that kind of vibe in my room, and her room just like embodies that, and I love it. I love it so much. It's great.
Mom, go.
What do you think they do for fun?
My mother doesn't do fun. Butt crack alert.
Another thing that's going on simultaneously in this movie is her dad is trying to fix the water or the piping, something like that, in their house. I forgot this actor's name. I remember he was in Daddy Daycare, and he's just a very solid, funny dude in this movie. And her mom goes out for the night, and her dad's supposed to watch them. Yes, this montage is it. I love it. I love the way that they did this. Everything that they're doing, playing dress up and dancing around, painting their toes with whiteout, all their little makeover looks. It's great. It's wonderful. I mean, I feel like I wasn't having sleepovers like this when I was this age, but when I was pretty, like, really young, it reminds me of that. Brings me back. Then we cut to Stacy's little side story, and she gets picked up by her Chad Brad boyfriend or whatever in his Audi or whatever he's driving, and he's late to pick her up first off, and he's basically like, yeah, we're not going to the dance, and she's pretty pissed about it. Apparently she spent all month preparing for this dance. I don't know if this is a homecoming type of dance. It seems like just a regular one, so I don't know why there was so much hype about this. My school didn't have this many random dances, and a lot of people didn't go to them, to be honest, so I don't know what is all the hubbub about this. Maybe because she's in 8th grade. I don't know, I guess it does add to the plot. And it's not supposed to be realistic. I'm obviously being way too critical of this. This was made for kids. This was an early 2000s teen movie. All of those are wicked unrealistic. Even ones nowadays, there's still a lot that are very unrealistic and not an accurate depiction of what it's like to be in middle school or high school. Especially the dialogue between them is just very It's not very organic, I guess that's the right word for it. It just, everything just seems very not realistic and fake, but I think that's why I enjoy these movies that much more. It's entertaining because of how cheesy it is. Not to say that movies that aren't cheesy are not entertaining, like they're equally as entertaining, just for different reasons. So he basically tells her that they should just ditch the dance and make out instead, and she's all pissed off at him because he's pressuring her, basically. Pretty big douchebag. His fucking wife beater type shirt. I can't.
Out.
What?
Get out. We're over.
Really?
Yeah, really. Have you forgotten who I am?
Have you forgotten who I am? I can't. I cannot. Especially if at any age, this is the most annoying thing to say, but especially when you're, like a sophomore, junior in high school or whatever. Yes, I forgot who you are because you are no one. You are not anybody yet. The fact that you think that you are so entitled to somebody else just because of who you are, quote unquote, and your reputation is the dumbest mindset I can't even fathom. I can't even deal with it. And there are people in college that still have this mentality, and it's so hilarious. It's like, you don't matter.
Liz, change in plan. I can't get you guys into the dance. Calm yourself. I have new funness in mind. Start making a list.
Then Stacy calls her girls squad to scheme up a plan really quick for what to do for the night that includes Julie and her friends. I always forget Steve Carell is in this movie too. He plays the patrol officer, cop or whatever in their town, and he is so funny in this movie. He just never seems to catch a break with them. I feel like he was born to play this character.
Stacy? What are you doing here?
Todd and I hooked up, so we decided to skip the dance.
Okay, you guys did the makeovers.
Okay, that part looks so weird. I don't know why. It looks like it looks like they filmed her walking in, and she forgot to say a line that was in the script, and they just recorded her voice and edited in later when she wasn't facing the camera, and it's so funny. Maybe she did actually say it just sounds weird because she wasn't facing a mic or something, but I don't know, it's funny. Also, that she just kind of shows up to her house unannounced and nobody notices. Is her dad really that oblivious? I love her dress and her choker so much though. Like, she's poppin'. She's got that look. That's for sure.
Yeah, send it.
Question.
Her flip phone. Oh my god. Texting her friends and calling her friends on her flip phone. That's so funny. Something else about this movie that kind of freaks me out is I feel like it ages me a lot. It's crazy looking back at a movie that you saw when you were a kid and realizing how much time has passed in between. This movie is 16 years old at this point, and it's so wild. It reminds me when I went to see Ladybug, and it was set in the, I think around this time, early 2000s to mid 2000s, and it was so interesting seeing a movie that was supposed to be set during a time period that was in the past, but that I also lived through. I just haven't really seen that before because most of the movies I saw were either in the present or like way in the past. So it's so weird to see that starting to happen as we're getting older. I feel old watching this.
Steve Phillips? Dream on.
Julie has a picture of Steve stickered to her desk. That is so creepy. Like, that's just very weird. I wouldn't even, like, when I was that age, like, I wouldn't even have a picture of my crush or whatever on my phone because I thought that would be weird, especially if you weren't close to them really or didn't know them, just admired them from afar. No, that's so weird. Like, why did no one I don't know, I guess it's like cutesy and girly, but I feel like if the roles were reversed, people would be like, wow, that dude's a stalker. Especially later in this movie, I can't, like, you'll see. You'll see.
Hey, Julie,
Get
did Mom
out!
leave? I only found Dad.
Go! My kingdom for a lock!
Throughout this whole movie, she brings it up earlier, but she really just wants a lock on her door. I think it's supposed to be a motif to represent her youth or something like that, and wanting privacy and being independent and all that bullshit.
Did you get the hunt list? Opening now.
Hunt? Hunting what?
Scavenger hunting.
Oh, see, we're not allowed to leave the house.
Dress a window mannequin at Old Navy in your own clothes. Have a guy from datesafe.com buy you a drink at the Cosmo Club. Get a security decal off a Patrol Tech car. And,
Borrow a pair of Steve Phillips boxer shorts? No. See,
What's
I
in
can't
it
do
for-
that.
Okay, so that's the list. The last one that's specifically for Julie is to get a pair of Steve Phillips boxers. Kind of gross. Something I've thought that I didn't think of when I was like, I don't know how old when I was watching this movie, like 8. And now when I watch it, that's gross. That's weird. So whoever wins the scavenger hunt gets to sit at the fountains next year, and if you lose, you have to sit at the dumpsters. And this is something that has bothered me throughout this entire movie, because I feel like if I lost, I would still be like, I have personal autonomy and I can sit wherever I want. It's not like, what are they gonna do, hold a gun to their head if they try to sit at the fountains? That's so dumb. I mean, I get it for the purpose of this movie, obviously. This is a kid's movie. Once again, I'm being way too critical. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just sitting somewhere. You can sit wherever you want. Okay. I don't know if they were trying to do this in this movie, because they don't do it in an outright indirect way, but I feel Julie does kind of sort of embody that I'm not like the other girls type of mindset and whole idea. It's not like that bad, but it's there. And they're like, how old? They're probably around 13, 14, and they're meeting up with some guy who is overaged, who is of age, like well of age online. And just because he has this little stamp of approval, they're like, yeah, this is fine, this is safe. I don't know if this is sending the right message. But to be fair, it's very normal nowadays to meet somebody online, and still is unsafe to a degree today. And in here, they're just like, yeah, this is chill. Like, how are they even able to register for this as minors? I don't know. Why are they all blonde and white? Why are they all blonde and white? Why are they all always blonde and white? Yet again, we are doing better to try to be more diverse in casting. Nowadays, we're trying to redo that issue from the past, so I'm not gonna try to go off about that, but it's still frustrating to see that everybody in this movie, I'm pretty sure all the main characters in this movie are white and straight. It happened, but that's in the past, and we're gonna move on from that.
Hold on. Now, you look like your mother 20 years ago with fashion sense.
No, that is just false. Everything that was a lie. That was fake news. No, I hated that part. That part has always bothered me. That those sleeves. Your friend, the ginger girl who has like no other characterization, rips the shoulders off of her dress, like, and it just comes off perfectly and seamlessly. It looks amazing. Takes her 2 seconds to turn the dress into a halter and rip off the bottom. I cannot, because that would take probably way more time. I know it's supposed to be a montage, and it's like her beauty makeover montage. It's just unrealistic. I'm sorry, that didn't happen. That didn't actually happen. Okay, so the group of girls sneak out of their house by jumping out her window, and Julie jumps out wearing heels onto one of those, I don't know what they're called, but it's a little thing that will go over a patio, and there's like gaps in them. Just, you should have taken off your shoes. You could have brought sneakers, put the heels in a backpack. There was a lot of other options here, but it would have messed up that whole scene anyways, and whatever. And SpongeBob, Evan Peters, and the guy from Leeds, whoever that guy is, they all come up to sneak up on the house and see the girls, and they go through their stuff, which is creepy. That is honestly creepy, and this happens twice in this movie. I don't know why this is so normalized that teenage boys and girls are sneaking into each other's houses to look through their drawers and underwear. It's weird. In SpongeBob, it was funny.
I guess you're gonna miss the Panty Raid. The what? I said, I guess you're gonna miss the Panty Raid.
It worked. It's a cartoon. I don't think it actually encouraged people to be like, oh, I'm gonna go sneak into somebody's house and do that, because it was, I don't know, it was more comedic, and this just, it still is kind of funny, but it's not, I just don't think it's sending the best message, because I was watching this as a kid and I was like, yeah, this is normal, this is what teenage boys do on the weekends. No, it's not. And basically they see her brother, and then they all have to dress up in wigs to pretend to be the girls when her dad goes upstairs to check on them. And it's a pretty silly scene, and the girls go to this car that Yancey has, and it's one of those like little tiny smart cars, and they can barely fit inside of it, and it, I don't know, it's funny, it's pretty silly. Also, can I note both of them are driving without their license, like both groups of girls, which I think is so like I watched this and I thought that was okay that they were doing that. I didn't see a problem with it, but that is actually illegal, because both of them, only one of them has at least their learner's permit. The other one, Yancey, she was just kind of taught in a parking lot how to drive. And there's the scene where they go to Old Navy and they dress the mannequins, and you have the whole freeze frame scene, and apparently Steve Carell doesn't notice that those are actual people instead of mannequins somehow, even though they look completely real. He's just that much of an idiot, I guess. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, you get a gold star, and I will send you all $1 million. Never mind, that's not true. I won't be doing that, but there will be a part 2 of this, and I'm going to link it down below once I'm finished with it, and if you are invested in this. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Love you all. Stay safe out there. Keep washing your hands.